just after a lot of dancing away, talking to people, and said, you know, we're late to start the show. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed that, the Scarlet Hour. That was a rare treat. I wasn't kidding about Elaine Stritch. She does kind of, she's just really fantastic in that movie. And my colleague, Alan Rohde, when he was researching that book on Michael Curtiz, he actually was able to get to Elaine Stritch to ask her about making this film, and she said, I remember absolutely nothing about it other than I wore a bathing suit. Which she couldn't believe that they actually wanted her to wear a bathing suit. There you go. Okay, we have a winner for the donation drive today. I hope he is in the house. The donation drive winner is Greg Whitcomb. If Greg Whitcomb is in the house, you don't have to come up here right now. What you have to do is go after the film out to the merch table, and Dora will give you your prize, Johnny Craig's Fall Guy for Murder. Okay. Do I have a candidate here in the audience who wishes to come up and win what I have in my hand? I'm scanning. Okay, right here. This person right here, brave soul, come on up. And we'll see if we can reward your noir knowledge. Is there attraction there? Your noirledge? Okay. Oh, look, you gave your own mic. Fantastic. Come on. All right. Introduce yourself to this lovely crowd.
My name is Michael Blank. I live here in Seattle, and of course, part of the time to do so.
Okay, excellent, Michael. I think, and you know, you are, I'm aware of that. I'm trying to fake it like I've never met you before. And, you know, it's like, okay, I know that you know me. I know you're my Facebook friend. I know that.
Straight kind of plants.
Okay. You are playing tonight, appropriately enough, for a DVD from the Warner Archive collection of Michael Curtiz's The Unsuspected, with Claude Rains and who else is in that? Audrey Totter is in that as well. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, here's your question. Let's see if you can get this. This guy's kind of a ringer, I think, so I have a feeling I'll blow it. Well, there is a theory that everybody's mind goes completely blank when they get up here on stage. So here you go. The director of our last film, Michael Curtiz, is one of the most prolific filmmakers in history, with more than 170 features to his credit. The year after The Scarlet Hour, he directed The King of Rock and Roll in a picture set in New Orleans that many people call Elvis Noir. Can you make that noir? It's right. He just read it out the other day. It obviously left no impression on you, Michael.
Because I do know that this film is burning.
He directed The King of Rock and Roll, The King in New Orleans.
New Orleans.
No. There's a certain type of people that live down there in Louisiana, and there's a certain kind of food that they're famous for.
Well, there's Cajun, there's Creole.
Yeah. Put them together.
Maybe I should do this.
The Creole Kid.
King Creole. King Creole. You won that, sort of. No, you didn't phone your friends here. You actually, I mean, let's face it, I had to lead you quite a ways to get there. You're very good. Thank you. Thank you for playing. I appreciate that very much. That was kind of a half win. I think Casey is still the only one who's like just nailed it straight out of it. Okay. Don't rebel. It's color. You're about to see a movie in color, okay? But it's pretty darn noir. So the movie that you are about to see is based on a novel from 1953, the first novel ever written by Ira Levin. It won the Edgar Award from the Mystery Writers of America for the best novel that year. He, of course, would go on to write a great many famous books and movies, The Stepford Wives, Rosemary's Baby, perhaps most famously, The Boys from Brazil. This movie is particularly interesting because one thing that we love about noir is very often it takes handsome, dashing leading men and turns them into complete psychopaths. Robert Wagner was groomed to be like a waspy Tony Curtis in the 1950s, and he was just this handsome dude, obviously groomed for stardom, real Hollywood insider type, pals with Spencer Tracy, had a little affair with Barbara Stanwyck at one point, you know. He was just, had it all going for him. And then they said, you know, let's mess you up a little bit. Let's jerk your image around. And he leapt at the chance to play the character in this movie, Bud Collins, who is like, he represents the real dark side of American affluence and drive for wealth and all of this stuff that was so commonplace in the 1950s. The movie's also notorious because it's one of the few films of the time that actually talks about pregnancy. People didn't even use the word pregnant on screen in the 1950s. Of course, when The Moon is Blue came around, that was a big part of the success of that film, or the notoriety of that film. But this is a much, much darker story. Interesting that all the main players in this movie were contract players at 20th Century Fox. Robert Wagner, Jeffrey Hunter, Joanne Woodward, who was making one of her first film appearances in this movie, and an actress named Virginia Leith. They were all at 20th Century Fox, but this movie was actually made at United Artists, so they were all on loan to make this film. And a little tidbit about Virginia Leith, who plays Joanne Woodward's sister in this movie, is that she was the female star in Stanley Kubrick's first film that he made before Killer's Kiss, called Fear and Desire. She was from New York. She made that film with Stanley Kubrick, immediately went to the West Coast and got a contract with 20th Century Fox. And her career was somewhat short-lived. I guess that's what happens when the high point of your career comes in 1961, when you play the decapitated head in the brain that wouldn't die. But before that, she was quite striking in a number of films in the 1950s, and she's fantastic in this movie. It is directed by a man named Gerd Oswald, who was born in Germany. His father, Richard, was a director of films from the silent era. His mother was an actress. He came to America in the late 1930s and was sort of groomed from the earliest days to be in the movie business. This is his first feature film, and he does a remarkable job for the first time out. Unlike a Stanley Kubrick, who just started making his films on his own, Gerd Oswald definitely served an apprenticeship in the trenches at the Hollywood studios, and then emerged with this very, very polished piece of work as his first film. He made a number of other films in the 1950s, a picture called Valerie, a really wonderful picture called Crime of Passion with Barbara Stanwyck and Sterling Hayden. And then he really is most noted for directing a lot of episodes of the Perry Mason Show. That was really where he did the bulk of his work, and a lot of those are very stylish and very noirish. So this is the Robert Wagner Show. He loves this movie. He loves talking about this movie. It might be his best performance, and he is really, really vile and evil in this movie. So, are you ready for this? CinemaScope, color by deluxe. I mean, this is not going to look like your average film noir movie, but man, at its core, it is black. It is black. So, enjoy A Kiss Before Dying.